Okay, so this is not the review for the 2017 It. This is the review for the 1990 review. So, before you cut me off... Hey! You cut me off, didn't you? Shame on you. Be nice. Watch what I have to say. Just wait. Just wait. I get it. I get why you don't want to hear about a review from a guy that you don't know, or you've already seen this movie before so you can hear it from better sources or come to your own opinion about it. I get it. But what makes me not so different but a little unique is that I may have just recently seen it. Like if you look at the date down below and see when this was posted, I saw it the day prior. First time ever. I am late to the game. Shame on me. So, if you'd like, stick around, hear me out on what I have to say about the 1990s version of It. So, fun fact for you people who are attentive and aware like I am, found out this nice little factoid. The 2017 remake of the same name is coming out 27 years later since the first movie or miniseries came out, which is definitely the length of time Pennywise is asleep and then reawakens. It's kind of freaky. And I don't think anyone else could really have planned this any better. The guys who made that first one and then now this one, I don't think they intended on that. Unless they did. That'd be really cool and weird and creepy. But with all that said, we are in the 90s version, and oh my god, it's the 90s. Now, I grew up in the 90s. Yes, I consider that a pastime for me, and a good one at that. But I only remember like 1993 onwards, so I was just a little guy in the 90s and I had no interest in movies. Many years later, this movie came out, and upon 1,000 times in my lifetime, I've only ever heard about it and seen it on the DVD rack of every movie store I've ever been a part of, and I have seen bits and pieces of it, but I was like, this is stupid, and I changed the channel and I moved on. So when I was a kid growing up, I really didn't think much of it. So I didn't want to see it, and therefore I didn't. And that was until the trailer for the new one came out a couple of months ago, and it impressed the hell out of me. So I bided my time, and I was looking for the right time to review this miniseries before the movie came out, which is very soon. And of course, I'm going to be seeing it late, which is much later on than everyone else, so it makes me a little irrelevant to say the same things that everyone else is probably going to say, but I figured I'd give this original movie a shot, and now you kind of have a back history as to why I didn't see this beforehand, and why I'm doing it now. So it stars many people that shock the hell out of me, like Seth Green for one of them, like, holy shit, really? Seth Green? John Ritter, love that guy, may he rest in peace. Tim Curry, who is Pennywise and completely unrecognizable in this film, just saying. I just love the fact that there were so many people, little Easter eggs throughout. And hell, Gary Chalk is in this for one small scene that I'd seen him in part one. And I loved that guy. He voiced Optimus Primal, leader of the Maximals, in Beast Wars. Totally surprised the hell out of me.
Optimus Primal, maximize!
But everyone I mentioned, apart from Seth Green's character, is the adult version of the children counterparts. And of course, Seth Green, who was exceptionally young and nerdy at that time, fit the bill very well with the character he portrayed. He was very hyperactive. I think I related to him the most because that's me. But to say that this first part I'm reviewing, to which I forgot to mention I'm only reviewing part 1 of the miniseries, and I will review the rest tomorrow, to say that this is all about the kids is the truth, but this is really going back and forth between the adult timeline and when they were kids. And that is one hell of a setup. So for the first hour, we really see the adults, Bill all the way to Stanley, get called up by Mike, the librarian, played by Tom Reed. One by one, they all are called and they freak out and have a small breakdown of some sort in a flashback to when they experienced it and the troubled past that they all had before they met collectively. And essentially that is the first half of it, receiving the call to action. The adults freak out to the time that they were kids, and we get small doses of it terrorizing them.
Come on, bucko. Don't you want a balloon?
So let's talk about Tim Curry as Pennywise, or as the kids dub him, It. He leaves a mark on not only the kids, but us as well. Even when Pennywise isn't doing anything, he is creepy as hell. Just standing there, he's just like... Even the way he sounds, "You'll float too," gets under your skin, man. Tim Curry is literally unrecognizable in this role. Maybe if you look at the way he smiles or the way he uses his lips to enunciate his words, you may recognize a little bit, but he is just gone. This isn't him. They got Pennywise. They conjured him up and said, "Look, man, we need you. We'll give you kids later on after filming's done. But we need you because this is going to have to be effective." And I'm sorry, we won't say it's literally you. We'll say this is a guy that is very famous or will be very soon. And, can you do this for us? "I'll do it, but you'll float with me."
You float too!
But his role was definitely a perfect mesh of funny, creepy, and quite unsettling. But he was never terrifying to me. He really spent a lot of time off the screen scaring the kids using elements like water and balloons and blood. The blood was a nice touch because nobody else could see it but the kids. And I think scaring the kids in that way was downright creative. The shower heads in the school was my favorite part when they would extend out and freak out Eddie. Very nice touch, very creative. But to my surprise of the miniseries, it was very grounded and tone. But after all of my praises, I'm gonna have to tackle some of the aspects that didn't quite work for me, but meshed in well with the grounded tone and everything else in between. Because let's just say, for the sake of argument here, I really liked this first part. The pacing is slow as balls, dude! When the kids are not being threatened by an entity as old as time, they are being consistently threatened by the Bowers Club. And while I understand bullies never let up until someone stands up to them, the lead kid, Bowers himself, was relentless. He annoyed the piss out of me. At this point, being a kid, all I can think about of him trying to kill these kids for no real reason really bothered me. I mean, maybe psychologically you can understand that, but I mean, the kids do get what they deserts. That's fine. I understand that some kids are very troubled and only resort to violence. But I just feel like at some point the Bowers gang should have really been an afterthought. When this thing really kicked in, I feel like that's where they should have gone. Away. Regardless of the 90s-esque tone, which many of us can appreciate, including myself, the music does very little to help the situations feel intense, scary, or even desperate. It's the kids really help set in the tone, but the music, incredibly dated. Dialogue can be interesting at points to an incredibly emotional aspect of this miniseries, especially when Bill vows revenge against It. But other times, the scenes go so fast, you barely have a second to absorb what the hell is going on. And my real big gripe I had was that there were a lot of characters. 7 of them, in fact. And we see all 7 of them as adults and children. And it was towards the end of the hour, with only 30 minutes left to go, we finally get through all 7 of them. And while I do appreciate the detail that went into how you relate to each of these kids, it was a little overwhelming. And I did get lost about halfway trying to remember who was who and what their name was, because I suck at names. But it's their personalities that really helped make it enjoyable to really latch onto who they were. So it's the last 30 minutes that is a bit of a mixed bag for me. It ranges from enjoyable to annoying, and I feel a little put off due to the quick sum up before part 2. I'm sure some of you are saying, well, you should have watched the whole thing. And I would definitely agree with you. It's just that I felt the need to stay true to the way it was broadcasted. On the 18th of November, part 1 was broadcasted, and then on the 20th, part 2. So today is part 1, and then tomorrow, respectively, because I'm not going to wait 2 more days, is part 2. I like to just stay true. But overall, in all seriousness, I love the first half of it. It had great character depth. Treatments for each kid so you understood where they were coming from, despite the overwhelming nature of so many kids. I did enjoy the balance between the adults and the kids, allowing me to feel something for both ends, but the 90s music did not help the tension, along with some hammy dialogue and acting. But for at least the first half of it, I rather enjoyed it and loved it a lot. So without saying anything about part 2, which will be interesting for me to find out, How do you think I'm going to enjoy it? Let me know what you think of part 2 and what you thought of part 1 as a whole. Kind of asking a lot from you guys. Let me know what you think of part 1 and part 2. What do you think I'm going to think of part 2? God, wow, sorry. Anyway, yeah, if you can, great. Let me know down below. In any case, if you guys are new to my channel, just keep in mind this is what I like to do. I look at anything that has a sequel, reboot, spin-off, remake, whatever, and whatever's coming out now, I like to look at the originals and see if I can review them first and then get to the next one up. So in any case, what did you guys think of it thus far and also as a whole? If you guys are interested in my channel, please subscribe right here. I would really appreciate it. If you can, give it a little like right over here and just let me know that you like what I'm doing, and it helps me continue on, stuff like that. It's very appreciative. And if you guys could leave the comments below and let me know what you thought of it as a whole and what you think I'm going to think about part 2. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you then.